Is democracy the best we can do? In the democratic system, decision-making lies in the hands of the elected leader, who the majority trusts in. The preponderance of votes will decide the ethics and laws the minority will now follow, thus making democracy ipso facto a dictatorial, albeit socially acceptable, system. The people have elected who they think is virtuous and witty enough for the job, and like serfs, the rest must abide by the leader's rulings. It is an unfortunate truth, however, that at this time the people in their majority are neither adequately educated in the matters of geopolitics, economics, and so on, nor have they shaped their worldviews in accordance with logic, but instead with their emotions. Thus, democracy is naturally, or rather an appealing system to the one that values liberty before all. The options therefore are limited to monarchy, anarchy, and lastly, democracy, albeit in a different form. When one appoints decision-making on a single person or more, their fate lies in the hands of said individual, party, or coalition of parties. It is therefore logical that all laws guaranteeing the rights and liberties of a citizen can be annulled on a whim. However, one can say that minimizing the size of the government together minimizes the probability of such a thing happening, and therefore that a monarchy may be desirable as long as the leader is virtuous and abides by libertarian ethics. The problem still persists, however. What if, in a twist of events, the monarch decides to take back on the promises given? The logical solution that one can offer is that no one should impose their will on another, ergo anarchism is to be adopted. But can one truly agree that every system previously controlled by the state can be ensured to work just as fairly and effectively by the free market? That may be the case, but I would personally argue that it can't, although I will not get into too much detail. In short, I believe that such a system, where the future of the anarchic commonwealth or the country as a whole is to be secured, every person must oblige by the libertarian code of ethics, and thus certain individuals from the left wing are guaranteed to resist. Accordingly, it's my opinion that the transition to such a state is to be gradual to ensure its stability and the trust, most of all, of the persons willing to follow. While I'm aware that this is a common opinion to have, I believe that socialism may be the first step to, at the very least, libertarianism. There is no better way to prove one's point than to show the failure of the others' ways. Thus, the failures of the socialist system are in a way necessary to the cause. It can be even argued that the establishment of certain infrastructure and systems were necessary to signal to the market the needs of the population. Alas, I may be now losing some of you, so allow me to explain my position in a clearer way. While I trust the infamous anarcho-capitalist system, I hold the belief that it is much better for a country to first split itself in smaller states or municipalities even, so that everyone may adopt the system that expresses and pleases them. Of course, it naturally arises that with absolute certainty the socialist commonwealths will collapse. Hence, it must only be guaranteed that the people of the previously unified country be free to choose where they wish to reside. Unnatural competition will thereby occur, which will inevitably force the municipalities to adjust to the circumstances. While it is uncertain if the socialist municipalities will eventually abandon their ways, it is in a way nigh impossible for an even lightly libertarian state not to arise, and I would even say that anarcho-capitalist society will also follow. So, to summarize, it is my opinion that once a country traverses through the barren land that is socialism, it will surely eventually turn to the right way, both figuratively and literally. What must be done, therefore, is for a democratically elected leader that actually wishes to minimize the damage democracy causes to arise, so that a country slowly transforms to the libertarian ideal. Once that is done, the country is to split, held together maybe only by a common army, or none at all, so that each state naturally adopts the system the majority of the population supports of. That itself will inevitably cause the libertarian states to prosper, since they are held back neither by people who sabotage the libertarians' endeavors, nor by a thieving state.